I have always thought Pokemon Evolution was a beautiful thing. Growing up as a kid, the pure awe and wonder and excitement when a Pokemon evolves was fantastic. Watching these characters turn a glowing bright white and morph into the next form was a thing of beauty in the anime. With that being said, I find it absolutely ridiculous and baffling as to why they have not incorporated this visual presentation into the mainline Pokemon games by now. We are in 2025, folks, damn near 2026, and Evolution still looks like this. Take it away, Pokemon Legends ZA. For every single Pokemon, it looks just like this. This is just another example of what makes Game Freak, Nintendo, the Pokemon Company, and any other entity involved with the development of these games lazy. Switch 2 hardware especially is capable of creating a short animation sequence for each of these individual Pokemon to show off the glory of evolution. Players, trainers, work so hard to level up their Pokemon just waiting for them to be better versions of themselves. They deserve to have that moment of watching their Pokemon take a huge step in their maturation and part of the trainer's journey. I remember waiting for my first Pokemon Evolution in ZA, just to see if they finally spiced things up in the games. And after I found out it was the same old generic boring presentation, I skipped every evolution after my starter evolved for the first time. Of course, I should have known better. The presentation and quality of ZA told me everything I needed to know. But I already made a video about that, link to that in the description of this video. Not to beat up on ZA because this has been going on in Pokemon games for a long time now. ZA is just the latest culprit as of making this video. And if you ask me, it all started going south with Pokemon X and Y, the white evolution blur over your Pokemon, and then once the blur goes away, there's your new Pokemon, or the whole screen flashes white for a second or two, and then when it dissipates, there's your new Pokemon. Something along these lines. I don't want to hear any excuses. I don't care if you want to say that this is due to short deadlines put out by Nintendo, if you want to say it's a small team of developers. The point I'm making is all parties involved share responsibility for this, and everything is slapped together lazily in these Pokemon games. These games lack the heart and charm of the games of Poke Pass, especially Generation 1 and 2. Let's go back in time. Take a look at what Pokemon Evolution looked like in Gen 1 and Gen 2. And not to exclude Gen 3, because Gen 3 was also a thing of beauty. Granted, this is on Game Boy hardware, so at the time, technology was not where it is today to create evolution in a presentation closely related to the anime, obviously. But for its time, this is exactly what that is. Their attempt at trying to create that exactly. They tried to create that exact sequence with their hardware limitations and sprites to show one Pokemon morphing into another. And as a kid in the 90s and 2000s, I was absolutely floored when I saw my Pokemon evolve. Two sprites quickly altering in and out on the screen, trying to get a glimpse of that new Pokemon you're about to have, while also savoring that last moment of the Pokemon you worked so hard with in its final moments. It was a thing of beauty. I started my Pokemon adventure in the 90s with Pokemon Blue, and I chose Squirtle. And with that, Squirtle was my first Pokemon to ever evolve. Wartortle was my first evolved Pokemon, and he was so damn cool. I will never forget that moment. Ever. I had no gamer magazines with guides and tips and tricks. We were on the road traveling on my birthday to New Orleans for the summer, so I did not have internet access. Therefore, I had no idea what level Pokemon evolve or what prerequisites needed to be met. I was simply just playing the game. And honestly, even if I had access to those things at the time, I would not have used them. And when I got the notification that my Squirtle was evolving, boy, was it a defining moment for me. I never skipped a single Pokemon evolution. Not a single one. Especially back then, when you had to grind a lot harder. Nothing was given easy. You really had to train each and every Pokemon and battle with them to get those levels up. And experience share did not even compare to how your Pokemon team builds experience in the modern games. So when that Pokemon finally evolved, trust me, it was anything and everything. A pure moment of great happiness and bliss. Pat yourself on the back. We've all fantasized about what an open world Pokemon game in full 3D would look like growing up. We thought of the endless possibilities and the immersion, evolution, watching the red energy beam go to work when recalling your Pokemon, seeing Pokemon in the open world with a choice to encounter, flying on your Pokemon, surfing on your Pokemon, voice acting. Some of these things have been incorporated over the years at various levels of quality, while others remain to be seen. Back in the earlier years of Pokemon, the developers and teams cared more back then. The games had more heart attached to them. Nothing was done lazily. Their games offered the best product they could put together at the time. Game Freak, Nintendo, and its affiliates were looked at as one of the devs that we knew was going to cook up some quality content worth our money. Maybe it's because they had to prove themselves. They had to cement themselves as crowd pleasers and reliable devs to establish hierarchy and the fan base. Now it's the complete opposite. You might say this is a nitpick. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Regardless, it is something that can enhance the gameplay experience and be a wonderful love letter to the fans as well. They are more than capable of doing this, along with other things that honest fans constantly complain about. Take modern Pokemon games, for example. Games with no voice acting, light and streamlined character interactions, lacking environments, low optimization, zero ragdoll physics, low polygon rates overall, among a million other things. There is no excuse for the developers for not cramming more details into these games, fine-tuning them, making them as close to perfect as they possibly can, making these games better. There is no excuse, especially given some of the characteristics I just laid before you. I feel like the Pokemon franchise is one of the few franchises where the fans constantly settle for mediocrity or less than mediocrity, and as long as the fans accept this and turn a blind eye, Game Freak and Nintendo will continue to give you bare bones skeleton products. Nintendo, Game Freak, please up Evolution, if anything, as a start to making your games better. We deserve it as the fans, and the Pokemon franchise deserves it as well. Folks, that's all I got to say about it. I appreciate you for stepping in. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified if you would like, and I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.